Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Women, Men, and Relationships.
Why aren't you using the beginning part that we just did?
Because this is not the Nice Guys on Business podcast where I catch all the crap we say before we welcome people to listen to the show.
Oh, okay. Well, then I won't say anything rude or obnoxious or misleading then.
Thank you.
You are
Keep
welcome.
that for your show.
Oh.
So we are podcasting right now, recording, surprise, surprise, in bed.
Wah, wah.
And actually, this time, we are actually under the covers
Yes.
at a hotel.
What? This
Yes.
is crazy. You know why?
Yeah, because we're at the next big step.
What is the next big step? Podcasting from an airplane?
Ooh.
That
No,
would be the Mile High Club, wouldn't it?
that would be sex in the airplane.
Oh, I didn't-
Podcasting, I don't think so.
Never done that. I've never done that. Those bathrooms are so small.
And they're gross.
And they're gross,
Why
too.
would I want to have sex
I
in
don't
the
know.
bath? You'd have to be really drunk.
Really drunk. I don't even know. No, the more drunk you are, the more challenging it would be. And the high pressure thing of the air, that would make it even more challenging.
Well,
I digress.
surprise, surprise. So, everyone, we are just finishing up the first half day. It's not even a half day. The first few hours of the next big step. And Doug will not be finishing the entire weekend with me. So I wanted to get his feedback on the air because you're going to hear, you've already heard from it by this point, everybody who was at the event and their voices were heard on the first part of the week. And so I think I'd like you, Doug, to talk a little bit about your experience today.
The turkey chili, amazing. you have to eat the chili and the pumpkin squares.
First of all, it wasn't turkey, it was grass-fed beef. But
Oh.
anyway,
Oh, geez. I think somebody thought it was...
turkey.
Uh-oh. Somebody that's a meatitarian was not happy about that if you tell them it was beef. Oh,
I
boy.
announced that it was grass-fed
That's
beef.
true. You did. What was my takeaway? Oh my God! So we got a room full of people, everybody bearing their feelings, emotions flying. That was just me.
That was you, yeah.
Oh my gosh! What a great experience. Even let's see. We got here. We started today, being Thursday at 4:00, and we're just finishing up right now, and it's about 10:00. And what a great experience! Just everybody, just the cohesiveness of the group, the openness of the group to be vulnerable, your leadership in at the front of the room. Just everybody is playing their role perfectly well, just like it was scripted. I mean, it is amazing. It was just such a great first day, a great kickoff. I think that everybody is really going to get a lot of powerful resolutions to the issues that they may have come to the table with. So I'm excited to hear, as I fly back to DC tomorrow, I'm excited to hear all of the things that came of the from the attendees today. What a great idea. Oh my gosh, what a great the whole thing is just amazing so far.
Did you have any insight, ahas, reflections, thoughts or feelings of, I don't know, like anything new stick out for you?
Let me say this. I will tell you that while I don't feel like something new popped into my head or there was any breakthrough for me on day one, what I did get from day one, which was so important and something I was really looking for so very much, was the amount of similarities that there are between the people that are here and each other, and me, and the issues that I bring to the retreat and are the same issues that everybody else is bringing to the retreat. We talked about scarcity. We talked about releasing what is it called? Inherited DNA. I mean,
Yeah, Lisa did a clearing,
Lisa did
inheriting emotional
I mean,
DNA.
Come on, just the idea of we all have the same issues, and it's how we deal with these issues that defines us. So I loved it because I was as we were going around the room and introducing ourselves and the things that we hope to accomplish over the next couple of days. A lot of people are in the same position.
Yeah.
And that to me is mind blowing because I've never sat in a room full of people that were so open and honest, and it kind of was like when we went to New Media Summit and had that mastermind group, except I felt a little bit more like that was focused on the business aspect of people. And what's so great about this is the important shit that's going on right now. This is the stuff that will work for you no matter where you are in life. And I think it was great to see the similarities between myself and everybody, at least from my perspective. I love that part of being here so far.
Good. And maybe we can talk about, because I know I asked you if you'd be willing to watch the virtual ticket since you're not going to be here for the other half of it. I'd love to hear some feedback on that and go through some of those processes. And I can't wait for you to be here full time in January. But for those of you that have not been to one of my events before, which is most of you, because there's a lot of you that listen to my shows. Only at this point, maybe 70 total people have come to the two events, and I would say, or maybe a little bit less than that. Thank you for those of you that did come. Thank you for those of you that did get the virtual ticket. You're going to get a great experience, and you're going to get all the benefits of those clearings that Lisa did both tonight and every night moving forward. So that is one of the benefits. And, can you talk about the space a little bit? One of the reasons, here's why I want you guys to hear this. There's a couple things. But being that this week is a reflection, one of the participants came up to me, shout out to Savannah. Savannah, you and I had a great conversation after dinner, and she was telling me how she didn't realize people were having, like Doug just said, having the same situations that she was in, and that she was actually driving. She had broken up with her boyfriend, or they had broken up, and she was driving to go move in with her coworkers, and she was listening to the show that I did on Sacred Contracts during that drive, and literally sat in her car when she pulled onto the driveway of her now new home, listening to the rest of the show, because she was like, oh my God, JJ has gone through this too. Like, when I'm going through this transition in relationship. So it left her feeling connected and inspired. And I think she must have thanked me 3 times for doing this event, not for the show, for doing this event. And I said, I have to, because you guys look for inspiration by listening to a podcast and something to entertain you possibly. But, if you're listening to me, if you're listening to my show, you want change, because otherwise you wouldn't listen. And so I don't really know how far one can get. I've done a lot of work on myself by myself for many years, but I think the real change happens when you put yourself out there in a community with other people, even if the people who are in the room aren't necessarily, let's say you were with a bunch of healers and people that maybe you weren't completely in alignment with. Let's just put that out there, because it's the same thing in mastermind groups too. You can be in a room full of people who maybe they're not 10 steps ahead of you. Maybe they're not the ideal person that you want to emulate. But just being in a room like this, spending the time working on yourself, is what creates the magic of reflection and sometimes clarity of what's going on.
Well, what I liked best about the room, the setup of the room, how you did it, was amazing. First of all, if you have never had a chance to go to one of JJ's events, you got to get to an event, because just your leadership in front of the room is amazing. And, I've been to so many conferences and watched so many people speak from stage, and what was so great about what you did was you connected everybody. Now, you can't do this with a room of 500, but you can do this with a smaller room, where you, instead of having it in a classroom style, now you started out that way because you wanted the speakers to be able to have a chance to introduce themselves, but what it evolved to was a large circle where everybody was sitting and sharing and communicating and talking, and while it was apparent that you were the leader, you were just really the facilitator to a conversation, which was great. So I loved the environment is so great, so much better than a conference where you're basically sitting there for 3 days and getting talked at. So I appreciate you putting it together in this format. I guess this is something that either you created or is a really great retreat style setup, because it was really cool.
It's a retreat style, and I've been to events as you have, and, we go to events and you're being talked at, and even in rooms where people are still connecting for business or even in personal ways on a deeper level, it's still different because you're still in the ego protection of your, like, what you're putting out there.
That's what it is. That's what it is. I'm telling you, as soon as you just said that just now, I'm like, oh my God, that's totally it. There is no ego in that room. We're all there to help each other. And sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but as soon as you said that, I'm like, oh yeah, that's totally what it is. There is no ego in that room, and I love that. Now, I don't know if that is the product of having mostly women in the room. I don't know if when a group of women get together, is that normal? Because I know when a bunch of guys get together, it's just nothing but ego that comes out. So that's what I've experienced.
Well, I had more men at the first event at Releasing What Weighs You Down in January, and I would say the men are a little bit more tentative to sharing their feelings. But by the end of the event, one of the participants, who's a long-term client of mine, just looked around the room and said to the women, "You guys are so good at sharing." And it wasn't because he didn't really want to. It was because he didn't know how. And I think depending on your age, depending on the environment you were raised in, depending on your astrology, that some men have a harder time even just knowing how they feel. So coming to a retreat like this brings up some consciousness and really becoming awake and paying attention to. And he even said to me at the beginning of this year, or right before the event, he said, "You know what? When you asked me that, I never really thought about that before. I've never really thought about how I feel."
Well, you definitely feel like a rock star in that room, because you are a rock star. That was so amazing. I love the outpouring of support for you. It's great. It's great when you hear people talk about you. And we live together. I didn't really know you as that person before I met you, and coming to a larger event like this. And you know what? It's not just an event like this. It's not just the retreat. It's the emails that you get. It's the reviews that you get on Facebook or on iTunes, and it's the popularity of your show. I think at last count, you were somewhere in the low 140s when it came to the rankings on iTunes. JJ, you got your shit going on, girl, and I love hanging out with you.
Thanks, babe. So for those of you who are listening to this, here's just some takeaways for you guys, right? So whether you ever come to an event like mine or not, going to an event and taking and carving out that time for yourself and spending time taking a deeper dive and being able to work with people and facilitators and healers and teachers and trainers, people who can reflect back to you what you're putting out there or help you get to the next level. I mean, we haven't even scratched the surface. Tonight's the first night, even though you're going to hear all about everyone else's breakthroughs first. This is just Doug's recap, since it's the only time I'm going to be able to get it, and he won't be here for the entire event. But taking the time out, like not just going on a vacation, but going on an exploration of who you are and why you are. And it's so important that, especially if you've never done it, doing it like for the first time could be mind-blowing and life-changing, because you may never have taken the time to actually, although you listen to my show, I have to imagine those of you that still listen do take the time. But maybe you haven't taken the physical time to show up to an event. The next one's in January. Yes, this is me pitching the event. But if you don't come to my event, go to an event. Really take this information to the next level.
Get to JJ's event. I will say it a little differently. This is by far, and again, just in a short period of time, you open up like no one else could possibly open up. I mean, it just, the healing that's going to happen, I can only imagine after just 5 hours of hanging out with everybody that's here on day one. I can only imagine. I am so pissed that I'm not going to be here for the next 2 days. And tomorrow, Imago. I mean, shit. Come on,
yeah.
Seriously.
Oh, we're going right in. I cannot wait. I can't wait. But again, just for everybody listening, it's really important that you honor yourself and your time on this planet, to give yourself space and clarity to be with yourself and learn about yourself and explore that stuff about you. and find, when it calls to you. If the January event calls to you, cool. If another event somewhere else calls to you, cool. Just, that would be my recommendation for those of you that feel stuck in any area of your life. Go take some time and study. Go to school to learn about you, and do that in some kind of environment that's supportive and that allows you to sort of break down and support your growth. So
just remember, you choose the relationships to heal the wounds of your past. And tomorrow, breakthrough day. I am so excited I'm so excited. Now, I've already done the Imago worksheet, but I can't wait to do it again. I can't wait to do it in this environment. Not only are we going to do the worksheet, but I'm assuming we're going to be talking about it too.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
Yes. Get my box of Kleenex ready, because I am ready to roll tomorrow. I'm going to be an emotional wreck tomorrow. I'm excited about this.
Me too. I haven't done it in a while either, but I'm going to do it too. So hopefully you guys that are out there, this episode is probably going to appear on all the different channels. So the message is the same. No matter what show of mine you listen to, nutrition and alternative medicine, fit to love, spirit, purpose, and energy, or women, men, and relationships. Oh, and by the way, I have 2 more shows coming out soon, which is, I'll tell you here. One will be called Health and Wealth. And the next show will be called The Emotional Side of Wellness. So, and those shows will have different content on them than will appear here. So, just across the board, the message is still the same.
And just in case you need a little bit of comedic relief, don't forget our new show, Hookers and Blow, that's coming up. That'll be great.
I'm not co-hosting that with you. I thought Strickland was co-hosting that with you.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right. All right.
How about something to whine about?
Right. Well, that's not our show, but we've been a couple episodes on some. I've been on a couple episodes of Something to Whine About, but we don't want to confuse you. I don't really want to go tell them to drink wine after I've just told them to go work on themselves. Working on yourself is not drinking. Drinking can be a good celebration and in moderation, a lot of fun, and sometimes also even good for your health in moderation. But I'm trying to encourage transformation here.
The Surgeon General warns against alcohol usage.
Yeah.
Batteries not included. Some assembly required. Not available in all states.
All right, guys. So we're going to head out because I have a really long day tomorrow and the next day of transformation and holding the space for all the people that are here. I hope to meet you one day to be in an event. I know a lot of you in Australia, by the way. Keep writing to me. If enough of you tell me you want me to do an event in Australia and you buy tickets,
we are going down under, baby.
We will make that happen. All right. I love you guys. And for those of you that might have missed Tuesday's show, and as a reminder, you do have a few more days left to purchase the next event at 50% off. That's January 10th through the 13th, 2019, releasingwhatweighsyoudown.com, releasingwhatweighsyoudown.com, and the code for that will expire September 30th at midnight. It's all spelled out, half off RWWYD, which of course stands for Releasing What Weighs You Down. So HALFOFF RWWYD, half off Releasing What Weighs You Down. Go to releasingwhatweighsyoudown.com, January 10th through the 13th in Los Angeles, 2019. If you're interested in taking advantage, this will not be offered again. Half off January's live event. I hope to see you there.